We are with Mario Cantu, who is running for District 3, Austin City Council. Thank you for being here, Mario.
Thank you, too.
And we are interested in knowing why you, why in this race of 12 people, why are you the strongest candidate, and what especially do you want to do to lead on the environment?
Well, as a candidate, the reason why I'm running is because I've been involved with my neighborhood and in and around my neighborhood and with Austin Neighborhoods Council for about a total of almost 8 years. And I feel that I need to make this step forward, because if I do not make this step forward and things become worse, then I will be accountable for that. So I feel that it's my opportunity and my duty to step forward in doing this.
Okay. And what are you interested in taking leadership on?
I want to take leadership on everything. I think it's important to be a leader in every aspect that you can, because we're going to have a lot of things coming down that we're going to be messing with as far as transportation, affordability, and conservation and preservation. So these are going to be some big issues that we're going to have to deal with. So a leader's going to have to be able to initiate all aspects of those types of problems.
Okay. Being a leader is about setting priorities and leading. If you were to accomplish one major thing while you're in office, what would you want it to be around the environment?
Around the environment, I would like to make sure that a lot of our natural resources that we have here in Austin, for instance, Lady Bird, also another area would be Barton Springs, and preserving some of those natural areas. We have many others. Don't get me wrong that I'm just mentioning only about two. We have a whole bunch. But as a native born and raised here in Austin, I know that those are assets to us, and they're vital that we keep those for many, many generations. So one of my priorities will be to making sure that we keep those and they're not built upon in the future.
Okay. Are you for the transit proposition, Prop 1?
No, I'm not for
You're
the
not.
rail system, no.
Okay. So what do you think we should be doing instead to reduce the number of cars on the road and the emissions associated with that?
Well, the reason why I'm not for the rail system is because this type of rail I don't agree with. I think we can be looking at other rail systems like in Europe and Asia that are more advanced in technology, more efficient. Spending money over and over every 25 years for another more cars related to the rail system will be costly to us. Plus, the debt we will gain right off the bat. So I feel that it's important that we look at the basic aspects as far as sidewalks, syncing our lights, bus systems, accessibility to the buses, and being able to efficiently deliver the occupants, the people that are using the buses at a fair time where they need to get to.
You think we can accomplish it all by buses, or do we need other strategies too?
I think we need other strategies as well associated with that, but we have to start at the very basics of making sure that our basic transportation needs are centered and dialed down correctly, because if they're not dialed down correctly, then if we go to advanced systems of transportation, then we just kind of defeat the purpose of trying to do things all together. What has to happen in transportation, as what I've seen in overseas, is that every aspect of transportation has to be efficiently and has to be moving at all times. When you stop something in a piece of transportation, that's where you become inefficient.
So you said on one of your questionnaires that you think ground level ozone is a top environmental priority in your community. Say more about how you want to address that.
Well, I think it's going to be just not in District 3, but all districts. I will be talking with each and every council member and making sure that we address that. I think that's something that's a hidden concern. We do have ground ozone, and I think it's something that needs to be touched upon and recognized that we could have some serious problems going on.
So what do we do about it?
Well, what we do about it is we want to recognize, we know that there's a lot of respiratory problems. More people are getting a lot of respiratory problems, and that could be associated to that ground ozone.
I know. So what do we do about it?
So what we need to do is, by addressing that, is either change the amount of vehicles that are on the road. Mm-hmm. So that's by changing the schedules of when individuals go into work, whether they go at mid-afternoon or late at night, changing those schedules, and then also having more vehicles coming off the road by allowing individuals to actually work at home. And then also creating a certain time for buses to be used at a lower cost.
Okay. So a collaborative process that has produced Austin's new comprehensive plan is called Imagine Austin, and it's in the process of being turned into code with Code Next, a new land development code. Austin is currently the fastest growing large city in the U.S. How do you think we should deal with growth? And imagine Austin's multiple goals, including compact and connected and maintaining our green infrastructure.
Well, as we know, green infrastructure is the most important vital aspect of almost anything. It creates oxygen. So the green spaces are going to be essential to have. When we start to eliminate those green spaces, we can run into some serious problems. So when we address density and infill within different parts of Austin, I think what needs to really take place is that we need to be very methodical about how that process is going and which avenues we're going to take when we want to do infill and density within neighborhoods. We need to be very cautious and very methodical with that process.
Okay, so the council just passed a resolution that we should reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions community-wide by 2050 with as much of the reduction as soon as possible. What tough choices are we going to have to make in order to accomplish that?
Well, again, working with each and every council member is going to be essential in making sure that we tackle that together, because each of us, we're going to have different opinions. But I think at the end of the day, what's going to need to take place is for all of us to have everything on the table, to know what avenues we can take and make sure that we utilize all of our resources in making sure that everything's done correctly.
Okay. And refer to something else. You talked about the drought and having a comprehensive drought protocol. Say more about what you think that should look like.
Well, I think the drought protocol needs to start, from disaster management, from public safety areas, and making sure that we take care of all those different small bits and pieces. For example, we just lost a deputy just this past weekend, and that's not good. Part of the protocol could be where, in managing and finding out where the flooding's taking place, it requires certain individuals to have life vests that are close to the water so that these things don't happen. And it starts just from the very basics of those types of things that we encounter, recognizing the mistakes that were made and then fixing them and then moving forward. So when it comes to the drought protocol, as far as being extensive, I would...
So you're talking about floods?
Correct. I'm talking about floods. And
okay.
then I'm moving, because it's kind of associated together.
Right.
That when we move into the drought part, that there's a protocol also driven in the same aspect. That's when it's a minor to a major drought. Mm-hmm. When we go to the major part of the drought, what is it that we address in that protocol? Now we don't have a lot of water. People are going to have to start going and picking water up somewhere. And what is the protocol for that? If we don't have a protocol in place, then we won't be able to handle that in the future. And I think those are some things that we need to recognize just to have, should we ever go down that path.
Excellent. Mario, thank you for being here. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you.